Teams for collaboration before and after the event, right? Like, for example, if you have any questions, let me share and show you. If you have any questions and things like that, you can always, ask Sumit in Microsoft Teams. Can you see my screen? Someone confirm you can see my screen?
Yes, Kadir, we can see.
So it's like a Slack, right? So we use Microsoft Teams. So I kindly request for those who have joined newly today and introduced yourself, if you can send your personal email ID or whatever the email ID that you are comfortable, but we don't recommend the official email ID because nobody sticks in the same job, right? So personal email ID, we can add you into this. You will normally get an email and you can reset the password and you should be able to see the channels the way that I'm trying to see, and you can collaborate with the teams and things like that, right? Different people in the community and so on before and after the event. So that's the first request. And then the second request is we also have a closed WhatsApp group, which is only for those people who have attended our Codeathon program. One of the program that we do is Codeathon, and we have a closed group, WhatsApp group for Codeathon, and we use that WhatsApp group only for emergencies. For instance, for unforeseen reasons, if you have to cancel the session or postpone the session, we normally communicate it in that. So we will also send in the chat the WhatsApp link. You are welcome to join the WhatsApp link. These are the two key things that I wanted to tell you. And one another thing that I wanted to tell you is about in couple of minutes about Testoper community. Okay. So if you know already, that is good. If you don't know, basically, first of all, we are a non-profit community. I wanted you all to understand that we are non-profit community. Some tech experts like myself, Sumit, Dev, and few other gentlemen, we came together and we kind of said, okay, why don't we start a non-profit community to really help the individuals to develop their future skills and innovation in intelligent technology solutions, on intelligent technology solutions. That is all, right? It all started from there. And we said, okay, let's do this as a nonprofit. And why nonprofit? Because we wanted to do this with an intention of helping others, not with an intention of making money, right? So that we were very clear on that. We wanted to help others, give back selflessly, and help the tech community. And we wanted to start this, and so we started this. So first of all, Testoper is a non-profit community. I wanted you to understand. And primarily, we focus on working adults, right? So whoever is working, we wanted to help to create a mindset to continuously learn, because it is very, very important. Because of COVID, Babita and somebody else was telling, they lost the job, and that's the reality. Even I have been impacted in the job, right? Reduction in salaries and stuff like that. And this is the time for us, right? It's a wake-up call for us to really keep ourselves updated on all the future skills and innovations area, so we can grab the opportunity. So that's what we came together and we said we are going to focus on the working adults. We're going to help them to really learn and things like that. Because for those who are starting the career, you have universities and all these different stuff, right? And who loses the career, retires, you have an employment insurance and so on. But people who are actually working, we wanted to really focus them and do things. That includes immigrants. Like, for example, there was a person who was like 6 years and who joined today in our session. He was working in back home, but here he's looking for a job. So he's actually a working adult, but unemployed today. And we wanted to really help him to become employed. And when you are employed, we wanted to really help you to be employed and continue to learn skills and stand out of the crowd in your organization, be a big performer and innovate in your organization. Bring the continuous learning skill, not only within you, the people surrounding you, colleagues, friends, and families. This is what we really wanted to do in Testoper community. And we started this nonprofit community to do exactly this. And if I wanted to kind of tell you in one single slide what Testoper community is, if you wanted to really explain to others, it's pretty simple, right? We focus on people like you, me, And we focus on three key personas, right? Developer, whether he's a software developer, software architect, software manager, development architect, CTO, whatever, right? We focus on developer, we focus on tester, and we focus on operations experts, right? Support, monitoring, troubleshooting, DevOps. We focus on these three personas who are working in different designations. And what do we do with them? We basically help them to develop the future skills and innovation. Whether it is a personal quality, knowledge, tools and frameworks. Today, Codeathon is all about tools and frameworks. We are helping you to learn tools and frameworks. We have other programs. You should actually go and look it up in LinkedIn, but all the programs for 2020 is almost come to an end. This is our last program for the year. And there is one more program that's ongoing right now where 4 or 5 sessions is already complete. That is on AI with Python. That registration is also more or less complete, and that happens on Saturday. If some of you are interested, please let me know, and I can send you the link for that program to join as well. It happens on Saturday at 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Okay, so we basically focus on the people to develop future skills and innovation on different intelligent technologies that are out there. For example, IoT and the architectures and interfaces that are used to implement those technologies. For example, cloud is an architecture and interface. You can develop a application that is an IoT application deployed in the cloud as an example, right? So this is what we focus on. We basically focus on through different programs that we do. We do meetups, we do hackathons, we do codeathons, we do testathons, we do mentor-mentee programs, study groups, all these different programs that we do to really help the people to develop the future skills and innovations on intelligent technologies and IT architecture and interfaces. For what? The answer is very simple. So that they can work on any industries, they work on main areas. These three personas work on the main areas. What is that area? R&D or different product management areas in different product management life cycle, right? From the architecture all the way to the maintenance and support, troubleshooting, and so on. So that you can deliver the beautiful, high quality products, platforms, solutions, and services to your end customer. So that is what Testoper is all about. And the reason I took 5 minutes to really explain you this is because if you know this, our good work that we are doing, you will help us, because end of the day, a non-profit community is nothing but a community run by the community people. It is run by you all. Yes, we are few people who are spearheading and creating the frameworks and everything to run the show, but it's actually run by you. Like, you can come and provide some sessions based on whatever the things, and you can come and participate. We have 2 open source projects that we wanted to do. You can come and participate in those open source projects and help to develop those open source projects to help the community to in the goal of what we are trying to develop. You can be in the collaboration channel and you can post jobs in your companies for other community members to get jobs. You can refer them, you can make friends, and we can help each other. That is all about non-profit community. That is all about giving back to the community and individuals who are in need selflessly without having an intention of making a dollar or penny out of it. So that is what Testoper is all about, and that is what we do. And with that, I will stop speaking and hand over it to Sumit to kickstart the session today with the remaining 40 minutes, and then continue this session for next 5 weeks. So this session is going to go for next 6 weeks, and he will be taking care of you all for next 6 weeks to learn the basics of Testoper test project. And in the next year, we are going to create a bigger curriculum on test projects to get into the details of bits and bytes into different areas of the test project. So with that, Sumit, over to you.
Thank you, Kadir. So what we are trying to achieve here is create similar programs that will help us achieve some kind of skill set that is required by the industry nowadays. So we've been running these sessions and we are picking up the top tools and frameworks that are being consumed by the industry at this point. So pretty much whatever the market trend is, we pick up those tools and frameworks and we try to train all of you guys so that you become the future workforce and become relevant to the industry, right? So one of the tools that have come up in last year is TestProject. And this tool has a lot of capabilities when it comes to running any kind of UI, mobile, or API test, uh, along with a flexibility to run it on the cloud, right? So that's the biggest achievement of this, is that it's a cloud-based tool. You don't have to install anything. You log into uh, to the tool set and you run it from there. It's pretty much similar to all the commercial tools that were available before, like UFT, Silk Runner, and other kind of tools. But those are basically your tools that you need to install on your machine, and then you can work with them. But this gives you additional flexibility in terms of not having to install anything on the cloud, and integrations good enough so that you guys can run all the ecosystem on the cloud, right? So current industry requires that everyone uh, be cloud aware and understand the benefits of cloud and how to integrate the dev pipeline into the cloud with the test enabled in those pipelines, right? Uh, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run, as Kada said, we're going to run 6 sessions on these. So today is the first session. We'll be talking about is uh, some of the capabilities of TestProject, benefits of TestProject, some of the elements of TestProject that are there, and we'll try to create one simple UI test and see how it runs, and we'll try to integrate it with the browser stack environment, right? So that's the agenda for today. In the next week, we'll be doing a framework on TestProject, how we can create different frameworks. But before jumping into the framework, we will be working on how to create mobile testing using TestProject, how we can enable different devices on TestProject to run different same test on different devices, how we can integrate it again with the browser stack or the Sauce Lab environment to see how we can run it there on the mobile, and what are the things that we need to take care when we are doing mobile testing, right? Especially automation, we need to see what we are validating, how do we validate it, and what are the things that we need to take care of. In the third part, as we discussed, we'll dive deep into the framework, specifically into how we can create an enterprise-wide framework using TestProject. What are the elements, again, where the data will come from, how do we enable some of the key elements that are required for enterprise. In the fourth session, we'll be talking about some of the SDKs, which is basically the code that is being written using one of the SDKs provided by TestProject. We'll be using the Python SDK to make, because we are running this whole year, we are running on Python. So it makes sense for us to run, again, the code version of TestProject on Python as well. So we'll be using Python SDK to execute or create some of the tests in the mobile testing using the Python framework, and how we can integrate different PyTest and nose test environments into TestProject. And in the fifth session, we'll keep it open. We'll leave it uh, some of the things that we need to do for continuous integration. So we'll be talking about CI/CD deployment in the fifth session, how we can integrate dev pipelines with our test automation pipelines using TestProject uh, elements as well as add-ons. And then in the final session, we'll keep it again open for Q&A. So any kind of project that you are doing, you have issues, or we can have a live Q&A session and we can discuss all those there. Again, all these 6 weeks in 6 sessions, there is no restriction on asking questions. You can, we have a channel on Teams, so you can directly, if you are facing any issues uh, in running TestProject, and you're not able to troubleshoot it, you can directly come on that channel, and we'll try to reply on that as soon as possible. So we'll give you 6 weeks of additional support in terms of whatever blockers you guys are facing. So we'll be helping you out with those. Any questions till now?
Uh, Sumit, this is Umesh here. So I don't need to install anything. That's what you said, right? So it's a
Yeah,
cloud-based
nothing,
platform. So
nothing.
okay,
So there are some agents that you need to download, uh,
okay,
but you can do without it as well. I will show you the whole thing. We can do it completely without installing anything. but there might be case that if you don't have a browser stack account, you might need to download a local agent. But I'll show you in today's session itself.
Sure, thank you.
All right,
Hey,
so I'm going to share my screen.
apologies. I just wanted to welcome Bill Kales joined today. Hey, Bill, how are you? Can you hear us?
Yes, I had to take myself on mute. Hey, Cotter and everyone. I'm sorry I'm late, but I'll be listening in. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a technical session, not for you maybe, but those who do not know, Bill Gales is from QA consultant, and he basically, is Bill. You want to introduce a little bit of yourself? I don't want to underplay you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take any time away, but I represent the West Coast region, California, for QA consultants. We're based in Toronto. I'm sure some of you have probably heard our name before if you're up in Canada. We've been, connecting in with Cotter and TestPro, or TestOps, I'm sorry, for probably maybe a year now, and I always enjoy listening in on the events. And so thank you so much for having me, and great to meet everyone.
Yep. For those who do not know, QA Consultant is a dedicated company who provides the quality assurance solutions globally. You should probably go and look it up. There's a lot of job openings there, and all the very best. With that, Sumit, sorry, over to you.
Yep.
Sorry to steal your thunder, buddy.
No, that's okay, got it. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes, Sumit, we can.
Okay, so TestProject is one of the open source project that came up with, again, it came up as a community project, like what we are doing right now, working as a community and providing the skill sets or the information that is required to gain the industry understanding. Similar way, TestProject started as a community project, and it gained, but it had it had a backup of a very QA focused company called Tricentis. They have their own product line as well, but that's more on the BPM and on the automation side as well. But then they wanted to deliver on something for the community where everyone joined together and built something that is beneficial for everyone, right? So it's more so similar to what we do, but we do it in a different way. They did it in a different way, right? So TestProject came out of it. It's a cloud-based tool, so nothing that you need to install unless you want to run something on your local machine. Then definitely you would be requiring to download some of the things from here. So if I go to platform, it does have so stepwise. It starts with a recorder. So what happens is that sometimes you're not able to perform or write or create test cases that are in-depth code-based, right? You need a quick solution that you can do it in 5 minutes, and then you can come back to the company and saying, this is done, right? So from that perspective, uh, they've provided a mobile test recorder, a web test recorder. They're not the first one to provide this, but then integrating everything in the one platform is what they have achieved very well. They also do the cloud test management. They provide the test reports, and they do the distributed execution. Again, none of these features are new, or none of these features are exclusive to TestProject, right? We can do cloud test management with different varieties of tools, right? We can do distributed execution again uh, with Browser Stack, with Sauce Labs, and other platforms as well, right? Uh, and reporting. So there are um, tons of open source reporting that you can utilize in your own frameworks that we used in our earlier sessions as well. Uh, uh, so the name of some of them is one is report portal, and one that you can really use to create your own insights of testing that you are doing, right? Uh, Again, the idea behind TestProject is how to integrate all of these tools together in one platform, so no one has to go around shopping for different varieties of tool to do different to do to deliver on different parts of test automation, right? These all comes under different elements of test automation, where you are doing distributed execution, where you're writing executive test report as well. Again, now they have started coming up with a lot of SDKs. They have a Java SDK, they have a Python SDK, where you can really code and then create your own test if that is more comfortable approach for you. If you want to create a solid framework, if you don't want to go by just the UI, you want to plug in your existing framework to TestProject, you can use their own SDKs, where you will be having uh, to write in the Python code or in the Java code, but then you'll be able to run through the cloud platform itself, right? So whatever you write in the code, you will still have the flexibility to run those tests through this cloud platform, right? And then cross-platform testing, and then CI/CD pipeline integration. So if you're doing code-based scripting, it becomes much more easier to do CI/CD integration. They have some add-ons that comes with TestProject. Again, those are community add-ons that you can use for Jenkins, for Bamboo, and then remote execution. So you can run it on any of your remote servers as well. So let's assume you're running so let's say you're running a mobile performance test, right? And you have only a single server where you are running those tests, but now you want to run 60 of the same test at the same time. So you basically spin up your 60 instances, or you create 60 Docker sessions where you're going to run that, and then each Docker container or server will have one remote agent that you can utilize and run and configure it through the same UI itself, right? So basically, they are going to provide you with the UI that you can manage your agents, be it a remote agent, be it your local agent. The other way to avoid doing a remote execution is use a cloud cross testing platform like BrowserStack or Sauce Labs. And then they have the community add-ons for performing different features that for, let's say, uh, you want to do a file upload and you don't want to write all that code. So you might have an add-on on TestProject that you can utilize that ways. And then we have different kinds of testing that we can do. We can do web testing, mobile testing, Selenium and Appium testing is pretty much, again, is part of web testing and mobile testing. So the first thing that we're going to do is let's look at this tool. Let's have a login on this first. So I'm going to log in on this. So the first thing that you need to do is before logging in, you need to register for this TestProject application or the tool. So if I log out, I can invite new teammates, or I can do a registration on this. The registration is free. So when you go here, you do a sign up for free, and you create your profile on TestProject. Once you have created that, you basically do a login. And that's all you need to do to actually start using the tool, right? Nothing fancy, nothing big setup that you need to do to get started on the TestProject. And I'll show you how easy it is to get started on TestProject. I'll show you a sample UI testing that we'll create just now in 5 minutes on how we can create those tests, right? But before going there, I'm going to talk about some of the parts here that we have, apart from invite teammate and new test. That's pretty much understandable. So what we're going to do is, the first thing that we're going to look at is the home. So this is where we add a project or create new projects. So this basically is your management part, where you are creating a project and you are creating multiple tests inside those projects. So that's pretty much, so we'll create a new project. Let's say we're going to do first test as a project. So we'll create this project. And this is how it will look like, right? So it will have test and jobs. A job is basically when you create a test, you might need to schedule a job on certain agents or at certain time period. So you can do that through here. But it will be more clear once we move on to the test part. So let's move out, and this is the setup of our first project that we have created. The monitor part is where you basically look at the details of what you have. So you have the 0 Android or 0 iOS devices because none of my uh, devices are connected, and I have 2 online agents that are ready to run any of these browsers, right? And then basically it tells you how many currently the tests are running. So this is basically your dashboard for anything that you want to see what your test has done, right? So you can look at your currently running test, latest runs, and schedule future jobs. And then we have different add-ons. So add-ons are really a community provided uh, add-ons that we can use. We can also create our own add-ons and add it to test project for all other community members to utilize. So anything that you have to do with PDF actions or file operations or your verifying network call. So you don't have to write a lot of code doing this because let's open this and see what it does. The file operation add-on will allow you to perform the performing action on file. So it will create a file, it will delete a file, it will duplicate a file, it will read file, rename the file, and write to file, right? So these are the actions that are being performed by file operations. So you don't have to write a lot of code because they have already written that code based on these functions. So previously what we used to do when we are creating our own custom framework, right? Any other Python framework that we used to create, we will have to write some code to create these functions, right? So create file is a very generic function that you can create in Python uh, or Java. And then what it will say is, as an argument, you provide me the name of the file, and I will try to create that file in the location that you have provided me, right? So you provide the name and the location of the file, and it will create that file for you, right? So that's what add-ons will do. If you install that add-on, it will come baked in with all these functions that you can utilize without writing any detailed code for performing these actions, right? And it makes the readability much better because you're using something that has a meaningful name that you think will make sense without writing the code, so you can use that, right? Again, there are tons of these add-ons. You can do that. You can create your own add-on. Uh, you can actually see how many installed add-ons are there. Uh, Installation is really simple. So there are a couple of new add-ons that have come up, which are really great. One of them is self-healing locators. So you can use those ones as well. Some of the add-ons are coming up with AI implementation as well, right? So you can use that. So those kind of add-ons are people are bringing into the community that really helps in making your life or the framework easier to maintain on test project. And then you have different kinds of reports that are the trend reports that you can see. You can see last 30 days, last 20 executions. So this is basically a simple filter that you can use, but this is where you can see different kinds of reports, distribution platforms, trends. You can see once we start running the test and the targets, right? So this is where it goes. Now, the most important part is the agent. So there are three types of agents basically that you can use. The first agent is basically your local agent. So what you will do is you will download that agent. You can download it for Windows, for for different platforms, and then you can also create that agent in the Docker container. So we'll talk about this when we move on to the CI/CD pipeline, and we'll talk about the test project for Docker. But for now, we'll focus on test project for desktop, or you can use Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, right? So you can use any of these uh, agents, right? And then the last part that so once you have that agent, you install that agent, and they're ready. Uh, it will automatically detect those agents. One of the agent is the virtual agent. This is basically what we use uh, uh, because we don't have a platform to really run that agent, right? We are not running it on any server. We are not running it on our local. Let's assume we are running on a third-party cloud platform called BrowserStack. If we are running it there, right, it needs a place for that agent to pick up those commands to run against BrowserStack, right, or any third-party tool set. In that case, what this project will do is it will have a virtual agent listed for you that will do that part for you without having the installation on the local or any other server or any other remote agent, right? When you're trying to register an agent, you can have a remote agent registration or a local agent registration. So that way, as you will provide those agents, and then all the agents will be listed here. So you can, even if there are 10 servers that you have installed your agents on, and the 10 servers where you're running your test, you will still have a single place where you exactly know what agents are currently running. Okay? And let's move on to the integrations part. So integration part is where you have different kinds of integration. So you have C# SDK, Java SDK, and Python SDK. You can use any of these SDKs to write your custom code and then integrate it with TestProject. So this makes it really flexible because you're not just relying on the UI part. Because there are a lot of solutions when it really becomes complex to just do things from the from the UI itself, and then you need a lot of custom solutions that you need to, or custom functions that you need to build in order to overcome those complexities, right? In that case, you need some support from the coding perspective. That ways, the SDKs are really helpful in integrating those coding functions uh, into your three platforms where currently which are supported is Java, C#, and Python. Also, you can use the same platform to create your own add-ons, right? So once you create a custom function, it's nothing but basically a block of code, right? That actually allows you to use that function, right? You can definitely try and build some add-ons using these SDKs, but ultimately the idea is that you have enough flexibility to create those custom functions that are complex and you cannot do it through UI, right? From the so from the mobile testing perspective, you will find a lot of drag and drops or some of the native functionality of mobile elements that you might not be able to get it done through TestProject UI. It might be really, really a new technology that you are building on top of your mobile application that really doesn't have uh, an action related with that in either Appium or iOS or X uh, CUI suite or anything, right? Espresso, they might not have it, right? So you can actually create some function that you can really use those functions because you need some level of customization that you can do through coding. You might need third-party libraries where you are basically testing uh, a lot of the background information, right? You might not be able to do it through mobile uh, recording UI, right? Because what it will do is then it will only have the UI element located at it, but the validation that you want to do it with the backend is not possible, right? So in that sense, the SDKs really help you. And then you have different webhooks and Slacks. Webhook is nothing but it's a listener where you are creating an incoming or an outgoing webhook. And then the same webhook you can use to add it to the Slack. We'll do it in one of the our CI/CD sessions, but I'm just making you aware that we have some functionality on the webhooks that are integrated into a test project that we can utilize. And then the cloud execution, where you have different platforms. Currently, two are supported. Today I'm going to use BrowserStack for because I have the free account on BrowserStack for now. And once I register for Sauce Labs, we can run it on Sauce Labs as well, right? The only thing that you need to provide here is your username and your API key. So the API key will basically come from your BrowserStack login, right? And then Qtest is basically it's a management tool from Tricentis, so you can integrate it with Qtest as well. It's not free, just in case if you guys are wondering. So uh, this basically because Tricentis own this, so this is an additional add-on. And then you can definitely develop your own add-ons. You can create it in Java, and then you will have some information on how you can create a guide. You can use their GitHub repository for examples on how to create add-ons and how you start with add-ons. We'll not be talking about the add-ons at this point, not in the entire 6 sessions. That's a little more advanced. But we'll try to create one simple add-on that we can use for our own purpose. And then from that, it's pretty much what we have in TestProject in terms of what elements we have in TestProject, what we need to take care of. Now let's create a simple test to just to showcase how easy is it to create a test on TestProject. We'll be creating a UI test today. I will not be diving deep into the mobile at this point because this is an introduction session. Plus, setting a mobile is a little bit takes more time than setting up a UI test. So what we'll do is we'll create a new test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this website. This is a free testing website that I use from time to time. But let's use this as our base website. So we're gonna use, so let me start again. So create a test. So it will ask me what type of test I want to create. Do I want to create a mobile test, a web test, or a code test? So I'll select the web. The code is basically where you're writing your own code, custom code, and mobile is where you're running it on mobile. Right? And now it will ask me the test name. I will say first demo. If you want to write the description, fine. If not, you can skip it. Now select the web application. Since we don't have any web application, I'll add a new web application. I'll name it at Blaze. And this is the URL for Blaze demo. So I'll finish it. It will ask me select web application. So I have already added Blaze. I will select Blaze and I'll move next. Now there are 3 things I can do. I can create a blank test. I can edit a test, or I can record a test. So let's go with a recording version of it. So let's record. Let's make it really simple for us. So it will tell me that a recorder is going to open in a new window and the editor will be closed. So I'm waiting for the new window to open. Yeah, here you go. So it's going to open the URL by itself. Right now, the recording pane will be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some actions and let's see if the recording is there. So let me, oh, shoots. Give me 1 second. I need to get my charger. Sorry about that, guys. My battery was running out. All right, so let's start the recording. The first thing I'm going to do is let's go from Boston. So once I clicked on the Boston, what it is telling me is that it did 3 actions on that part. So I clicked on from port and then selected Boston in the front from port select, and then I clicked on it, right? Now the next part is I'm going to London. Again, the same actions, clicked on the 2 port select. So when you see something highlighted in green, that's the element that it is selecting. So what you guys can do is you can modify it in the later version, but for now, let's keep it simple. And then I'm clicking on find flights. Right. Once that is done, I'm gonna choose one flight and I'm gonna enter some details. All right, once I've filled the details, I'll purchase the flight. And this is what I'm getting right now. My test is complete, but it's only action based. I don't have any details on how to validate if this is successful or not, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this element. And once I have this, I can also use this 3 dots and I can use actions, different actions that I can use, or I can add in validation. So my validation is the amount should have a text amount. Right? And created a new test, which is validation. So the validation is amount table cell contains text amount. Right? I can delete this, click. I don't need that. And then I can basically go to the test, add the description. First demo test, and I'll save the test. You can also perform different, if you don't know what to do, you can actually go to that element and perform any of these actions that are written here, or you can perform different kinds of validations. If the validations are not here, you might want to write your own custom validation and then integrate it with it. And then different attributes like expert, tag name, and text. And either you can save your element in the element section, and then you can do. So we save this test. I'm going to pause this test, and we're going to close it. So what is that is done? It should show me that my test is there. And let's try running the same test. Now I have different agents. Now I can either run on browser stack or I can run on my local agent with different browser configurations, right? So I have Firefox, Edge, Internet Explorer, Chrome. In the browser stack, once I do, I can have tons of options to select from, right? I can also go to mobile, run it on mobile. Again, but it will run on mobile on the browser in the mobile, right? So it will run on Google Chrome, on Galaxy S9 Plus, have it running Android 9. But for just the demo purpose, I'm going to run it on my local agent. Yep. So let's see. Yep. It started the browser. Yep. The test has passed along with the validation. Right now, if I go to monitor, it will tell me total test runs are 1. And there are no currently running tests. And the latest run, it will show me this, which is first demo. And this is the report. Right? You can download a summary report, you can download full report, or you can go to the test from here. And then this is the steps that you've run. So it will have that kind of report. Now let me run the same test on browser stack, right? Let me open the browser stack as well. so we can see. Right. So let's select from browser stack. We'll run it on, let's say, Windows 7, Chrome 78. Again, browser stack is the same kind of implementation where you're basically registering on browser stack and you're running it on the cloud itself without having to set up anything. The only thing is the integration that you need from here. So it's showing me the test has started. So I can see the test is running, which is first demo. I can look at the steps that are being executed. And I can actually see in this live session recording what is happening. Yep. So it finished the test. Now, once you get that done, you look here, you'll have another report that basically runs on the browser stack. So this is the one that we ran, and you can directly open your browser stack report from here. So if I click here, it will show me the same test that has been run. Pretty straightforward. Again, if I log out of this browser stack, all I need to do is register for browser stack. If I register, it will give me some free trial. I can use that. And then I can use that to do some of my free trial things, right? If you attend this session on webinar or a session on this, finding the balance end-to-end test strategy, you will get a 30 days trial period as well along with it. So if you're interested, if not, you have a free trial version as well that you can use to run some of your mobile testing. You will definitely need a cloud platform to run your mobile testing. If you don't want to rely just on one device to do mobile testing, I would recommend using some of these platforms. But for the purpose of this training, I will be using one device, an Android device on local, but multiple devices on cloud. I don't have too many devices at home to do this, but I have an Android device that I can use to for the local purpose. But we'll be using some of the browser stack platforms and use their devices to run the same test on other devices and get a feel of it. Any questions till now? Any questions? If not, let's conclude this session. I think we're just about time on TestProject. In the next session, we'll deep dive into the mobile world of TestProject. I think for the introductory session, this is more than enough to grasp what TestProject does, what are the features of TestProject, and how easy it is to set up a test project. And a demo test basically show different elements of TestProject, right? And then we will continue on the mobile part, and we'll deep dive into how to create mobile testing. What are the things that we need to consider? We'll not keep it as simple as the UI test, but what we'll do is we'll deep dive into all the functionality of that TestProject provides in support with Appium or iOS or Android. And then we'll move from that in the next session to code-based mobile testing.
Sumit, do we need any prerequisite for a next session, like any mobile device or anything that we need to get ready?
So there are two ways. If you have a free version of BrowserStack, you don't need any device. You can run it on the BrowserStack. If you don't have a free version of BrowserStack, I would recommend having one device handy with you and with a USB cable attached to your computer. Everything else comes baked in with TestProject. All the drivers are already built in, so you don't need that. But
okay, no Android Studio or anything is required,
nothing,
right?
nothing is
okay.
All right, Sumit, top notch as usual. Thanks, guys. I hope that you had a great learning today. As you all know, this session is going to continue for next 5 weeks, same time. Looking forward to you all, seeing you all in our next session. Please do not forget, if you have not sent your email ID, please send the email ID in the chat so we can add you into the Microsoft Teams. You have your own account, as well as there is a WhatsApp link in the chat. Go up in the chat and join the closed Codeathon group, so that if there is any change in programs or anything, it's kind of notified to you all. All right. So with that, we can close the session. There were some questions, Sumit, if you want to really quickly look through this, let's see what is the question. Umesh, is there a specific DevOps session related to DevOps? Yeah, we did many of them, and you can actually go to the YouTube and search Testoper. You will see a lot of sessions around basics of cloud computing that we did throughout the year, and we plan to do a few more next year. And there is one study group ongoing right now with a closed group of, the study group is a program where, you remember in our, young age, we get together with friends and we read like that. There is study group ongoing right now on Jenkins, Kubernetes, and stuff like that. You can also join that study group. So once you are inside the Teams, you can look at the study group channel and you can join, a few people who are jointly studying Jenkins, Dockers, Kubernetes, and things like that, Umesh. Right? So two options for you, YouTube and study groups. Yeah.
Okay, so it's in the link that was sent to my email, right? That Teams.
Yeah. So once we add you into the Teams, you will get from the Microsoft an email. All you have to do is download the Teams app, put your email address, click forgot password, reset the password, then log in. So once you log in, you should be able to see all the channels that I showed you in the start of the program.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. And two solutions for you. Go to YouTube, search Testoper. There's a lot of videos there throughout 2020. All the session videos are uploaded there. And there are some that are local to Testoper. Only those videos are available in the Teams. So once you join the Teams, you can see that as well. Okay.
Thank you.
So Sumit, there is a question. We integrate ours with Sauce Lab. I think you kind of covered that.
Yeah, in the next session, we'll try to cover Sauce Labs as well.
All right, perfect. Guys, if there is no other question, can we close the call? All good? All good? This meeting is all good?
Yeah. Thank you, Sumit.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sumit. Thank you, Sat.
Perfect. You guys have a great evening, and see you guys, some of you guys on Saturday for AI with Python program. And for those who don't join, I'll see you on Wednesday. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.